What's going on, my fellow warriors? This is Musou Prince here with another Royal Rambling, and this one is going to be about the gacha adventure game Genshin Impact. Now, I know I'm almost half a year late on talking about this game, but I'm safe to say after putting dozens of hours into this game, reaching to adventure rank 30, I think I'm ready to talk about how much of a fun and relaxing game Genshin Impact is. So what exactly is Genshin Impact for those who haven't heard of this game? Well, Genshin Impact is a gacha game. Yes, a gacha game. A game where you literally play RNG in hopes of getting strong characters or complete crap. But this particular gacha game is an adventure exploration, sautéed with RPG elements and sprinkled with a little bit of MMO on top. It's like Breath of the Wild meets Elsword, and the game was released on multiple consoles as well as mobile phones in September 2020. With what Genshin Impact is, what exactly is the driving story that is supposed to keep us interested? Well, the story revolves around a set of twin siblings, one boy and one girl, whom you have a choice as to who will be your main protagonist. Upon that initial choice, the one you so happen to not choose gets sucked up by this female goddess, who is giving me major Step On Me vibes by the way, and also leaves you for dead after kidnapping your sibling. Then after a 2-month time skip, you find yourself in the lands of Mondstadt with your little companion, Paimon, as you two travel around to search for the 7 gods, hoping they could help you in gaining the power to save your trapped sibling. Along the way, you'll be an engaging cast of characters, allies and enemies alike, who will either assist or hinder your quest. There are 3 parts of the gameplay segment that I'm going to touch upon that I feel break up what you can do in this game perfectly: action, exploration, and gacha. So first off is the action, the bread and butter of this game. Every character in your arsenal each has a specific weapon they use, along with a normal string of attacks, a strong attack you can use by holding down the normal attack button, a single ability, and an ultimate. On top of that, every character has one of 6 elemental properties that goes with their abilities, being Pyro, Hydro, Electro, Cryo, Anemo, and Dendro, and one of 5 different kinds of weapons, being a sword, claymore, spear, bow, or tome. And, like most RPGs, you can equip your characters with better weapons, upgraded skills, and artifacts that give you stat boosts. While the weapon combat is simple with only a single button map to it for normal attack strings, the real action and interest of the game is the use of the elements when they're combined to either give a lingering effect like burn or freeze, burst of damage like superconductor overload, or special CC like electro chain or swirl. It adds a certain twist to the game that really leaves room for experimentation, not only in the enemies you fight, but also your team comp on what elemental combos you want or need to use. Next up is the exploration, which is easy to surmise. You literally explore around the map in as much detail as you can and try to discover all sorts of things like treasure chests, random events, puzzles, and dungeons. But there's also 2 special kinds of exploration objectives that sets Genshin Impact apart from others, and this is in the Oculi and Sealies. Oculi are these special elemental fragments that can be found in each of the regions and are used to level up a special waypoint called the Statue of 7. Collecting these oculi and leveling up the statues not only gives you currency and material rewards, but also is the only way to level up your stamina, which is heavily needed for exploration. So finding the oculi, while completely optional, is definitely something that's worth your time looking around the cracks and crevices of the land, rewarding you doably. And then there's the Sealies, which are these spirits that if you follow them on a set path to the end, you'll receive treasure chest rewards or solve puzzles to unlock dungeons. And now, moving on to the final gameplay quip, being the gacha system. I've saved this for last because gacha systems are usually all the same in these kinds of games. You collect a special in-game currency that is used to spend on slot draws, which gives you randomly generated items, whether they are weapons or playable characters. Nothing really much to write home about. And last we come down to what I feel are the game's major pros and cons that I believe are necessary for game consumers to know that would definitely influence their interest in this game. First, the pros. Pro 1 is that the game is free to play, and this is always something I feel is going to be a pro to me, because what's better than playing a game for free? Pro 2 is that this game allows cooperative play with 3 other friends who are allowed to enter your world if they have the same or higher world level as you do. Pro 3 is that the microtransactions are really a genuine side option in this game and don't feel forced. After playing this game to the current level I'm at, I haven't spent a single dollar or cent to get to where I am, so this game definitely does not feel like it's pay to win, and is very forgiving with what I placed as Pro 4, material grinding. This game is very fair and not too much time consuming like other games with what materials you need in order to level up your characters and weapons. For characters, most of the time it'll be 2 sets of materials you get from gathering while exploring the world, and 2 sets of materials you get from taking on world bosses. And speaking of those world bosses, they are also fair with when you can challenge these bosses. If you defeat a world boss, they'll actually respawn in 3 minutes, allowing you to pretty much travel between 2 separate world bosses to grind. That is, if you have enough of a material called resin, which you need to use in order to receive rewards, as well as enter into dungeons, which I believe is fair for the game to balance excessive grinding. And now we move on to the cons. Con 1, the fact that this game is a gacha game. Now, I myself have no issues with gacha games, but I know that there are a group of people out there who think gachas are major turnoffs, and I don't blame them. The idea of RNG deciding whether or not you get a character, a good weapon, or crap is not exactly a settling feeling, especially if you're allowed to throw money into it and could still get crap. Con 2, there are some limits to the co-op. In particular, you nor your allies are unable to interact with any story-driven objectives. Now, if this was just story-based missions, I can understand that, but this also includes side missions and activating Statues of 7. Now, the last one, I really don't understand why they do that, because they allow travel points to be interacted with, which act similarly to Statues of 7, and I feel the Statues of 7 aren't exactly necessary for completing the story and are more along the lines of world exploration, and this really hinders the want of people in discovering the world alongside friends. And finally, Con 3, screw the Dragon Spire! Seriously, the environmental effect of sheer cold can suck the entirety of my left nut. I didn't like it, my friends didn't like it, it wasn't a fun mechanic in Breath of the Wild, it's not a fun mechanic here. Screw this thing! Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed my little royal rambling on Genshin Impact. It's definitely a game that caught the interest of me and my friends, and it's a game that I feel is going to be around for a while with the kind of community it appeals to. So with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you all in the next project. Later, guys!